Excited to watch Caitlin Clark. That continues even after the Olympic break. She was off for right at a month after not playing and participating for Team USA. She returned on August 17th, or 16th, excuse me, on ION. They had over 1 million viewers across the country watching ION collectively whenever the Indiana Fever tipped back off on that Friday. And this past Sunday, 2.2 million viewers. I think it's the fourth largest audience for the WNBA. The national primetime slot on CBS this past Sunday. More massive ratings for the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. And now we begin to see the transition into football season, where this weekend college football kicks off, and then we're 2 weeks away from the NFL season openers. Thursday night football will not play a factor, but Friday night will. That'll be the first head-to-head game. I believe it's September the 6th. And that is Green Bay against Philadelphia in Brazil on Peacock. Friday night, NFL football, week 1. And the Indiana Fever will also be on. You can bet that it will be a nationally televised game. And we'll be able to compare. We're going to be able to compare it 4 different times throughout the end of the regular season for the WNBA. Playoff time, that's where they got it wrong last year. They went head-to-head with the NFL on Sunday afternoon for the WNBA Finals. They've got to rethink the structure and the schedule of the WNBA Finals, regardless of who's playing in it. Doesn't have to be Caitlin Clark. But the head-to-head against the NFL for Clark will be fascinating to see, given the fact that every time that we see a headline with her name in it, it includes over 1 million viewers, even if it's an ION broadcast.
It's amazing that we're even discussing, not that it's going to be close, but that we're even discussing the NFL and the WNBA as somewhat of a competitor, or the WNBA needing to schedule better to avoid the NFL because they've got really good numbers right now and they don't want to take away from those numbers. The fact that that's even a question right now, and again, I'm not questioning who's going to have more viewers. It's going to be the NFL. But the fact that we're talking about strategically placing WNBA games away from the NFL is such a testament to Caitlin Clark. Hutton, she is such a phenomenon. I'm trying to think about the comparison that would be apples to apples of bringing someone to an entire sport or league based on one individual player. Tiger Woods comes to mind in golf and what he did for golf ratings in a tournament that he was in versus tournaments he wasn't in for years and years, the impact, the Tiger Woods effect of that. That's one of them. The other one's Lance Armstrong in cycling. I mean, people actually watch the Tour de France. Sorry for all the Frenchmen that are watching the show right now.
Chad, in terms of just attending an event, Messi for me with MLS.
Yeah.
But I'm not watching on a nightly basis.
I don't know what the Apple TV Plus viewership's like for MLS with that package.
It drew me to go to the game.
Right.
But it didn't have me tuned in. It would be Tiger. That's the equivalent for me.
She is the biggest.
Just the single individual as to why you're watching.
She is the biggest needle mover phenomenon to ever hit that sport.
Oh, easily.
And there's not a close second.
No. And it will continue. Now,
and
right
that'll upset people who will say, well, she's not the best. Well, of course she's not the best yet. But good Lord, she's breaking records left and right in her rookie year.
Yeah.
And she's going to eventually be the best. That's the track she's on right now.
And now the question is, how do you capitalize on that? Because whether or not you were tuned in to watch Tiger Woods, you still saw Tiger go head-to-head with Sergio.
Yep.
Phil Mickelson, Ernie Els. Like, if you go back to that time frame, there were other individuals that you were also following. I don't think the WNBA is capitalizing on that aspect enough right now. Case in point is, and I wouldn't have known this had we not seen the complaints from the Connecticut Sun fans, or excuse me, the players, because the fans showed up. They played their first game last night in Boston at TD Garden. Of course, it's the Connecticut Sun, but they're wanting to be more of the New England team for the WNBA. And I think it's a great example of how fans are going to the games, flocking to it. In fact, over 19,000, they sold out the TD Garden in a game that had been planned for a while. And they're trying to get that NBA feel to it. It's Boston taking on Los Angeles and the Sparks. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Game's not nationally televised. You couldn't find it. You either had to go to the WNBA League Pass, which maybe Chad can find. I certainly can. And
didn't know there was such a thing.
Or
you just really educated me, Hutton. There's a WNBA League Pass?
There's a WNBA League Pass, or you could find it through the Connecticut Sun live stream.
Oh, I'll get that info from Tyler in the break. I'm sure he's knowledgeable of all these things.
Yes.
Big fan. Big Sun fan.
Dejanay Carrington is one of the outspoken players for the Sun and said, since we got to do our own promo, because she was critical that the WNBA has not promotionally done a very good job with this. We're playing at TD Garden tonight. It's sold out. First W game here ever, historic. Not on TV, but you can catch it right here on Twitter. I don't think college basketball and the NCAA capitalized on Caitlin Clark enough, because I can't tell you another player on Iowa's roster. Hopefully, you'll get you get more of the drama that includes Caitlin Clark in the playoffs for this league. But they've got to do a better job of emphasizing why I should care about literally anything else when someone refers to the WNBA as the W. And this is a great example of that. The Connecticut Sun, they share a training facility, their training facility, at a community center. The Mohegan Sun and the Mohegan Tribe, they own the Connecticut Sun. And they also own this community center. The Mohegan Tribe, they split this. Members of the community center have access to anything they want, first priority. So last week, there were members of the Connecticut Sun practicing. They had to put a divider up on their court, like at a rec center at a campus, and get out of the way for a Pilates class that was coming in while they were blaring music for Pilates, because the tribe members were there to work out. Sorry, WNBA. Meanwhile, this same franchise just sold out TD Garden, but no one would know about it because they weren't playing the Indiana Fever. That's the league's issue now, more so than 1.2 million, 2.2 million. All that's great. I want to see the numbers grow from the other matchups that are going to be on the court. And that's the real testament to what the league will be doing, not Caitlin Clark. I don't think they're even anywhere close to doing it the right way yet, because for all of the great facilities that I know Las Vegas has with the Aces, Phoenix Mercury, they have their own practice facility. I believe Los Angeles, if they don't, they share a facility with an NBA franchise, and some do. There's only 12 WNBA franchises. And I just mentioned one that's sharing one, the Mohegan Sun and the Mohegan Tribe, for a Pilates class. But yet they don't. Here's the photo of it. Behind that divider is a Pilates class going on for the Connecticut Sun, who just sold out TD Garden. There they are practicing.
Yeah, our high school teams had better accommodations.
It looks like Middle Tennessee State University's recreation center to me.
Yeah.
And again,
it looks like two fraternities are about to play in a Tuesday night rec game at a university.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. ATO's taking on Sigma Nu there. But Chad, you
go SNU.
It is imperative that they do more to promote their league and individual players, much like the PGA Tour got it right whenever Tiger was on his tear. He was dominant, but they still built up individual brands left and right. And I don't think the WNBA is doing that.
Well, and it's got to be more than just Angel Reese.
The only way to do it is to talk trash about Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
That's the only way you get mentioned. Yeah, but yes. And not even the greatest players in the league. Some have, some haven't. But you see what I'm saying? If you don't cut the WWE promo, you're not really going to build your individual brand whatsoever. And that's on the league.
It is.
And I'm going to stop it right there. We'll finish that off. But this right here, this is making a lot of sense. See, these two, this is a step away from basketball. This is about growing the WNBA. This is about numbers. This is about business. I like this conversation right here. That's why I let it go so long without pausing. These are the type of conversations that the higher up, the business, the owners, the investors, these are the type of conversations they're having. We know what Caitlin Clark is going to bring to the table. Caitlin Clark can't play on every team. What are you guys going to bring to the table? And as you can see, there was a game that they just sold out at the Garden. I didn't know about it. I didn't know about it until I hopped on my Twitter. I don't think a lot of you guys knew about it. So what is the WNBA doing wrong that they had a sold out crowd and nobody knew about it? And it wasn't televised. That means that their televised numbers and ratings probably aren't worth whatever type of money that needs to go into it. Just being honest with you up front. Or else, why is it not televised? Why is it that Caitlin Clark's, they had 38 out of 44 games televised, or 32 or 36 out of 40 games televised? Something like that. Why is that for Caitlin? But nobody else has that type of schedule. Because Caitlin Clark's viewership and numbers are going to be record breaking, and that's good for that's good for everything, per click, per every. The way business works, that's the way we got to start looking at things. So I really enjoy this conversation right here. These guys are nailing it. Besides that, I mean, he did mention something about not knowing the Iowa team. I mean, how can you not know the rest of the players on the Iowa team? I at least know 7 of them, 8 of them. Obviously, we know Martin, we know Cisnano, we know the dentist, we know what's Marshall. There's a couple of them, you know, Stokey. There's a couple of them. That team was really good. So let's finish off and hear what they got to say. But I do enjoy these type of conversations. This is a business conversation right here.
It's imperative on them to not just have. And Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese is awesome. You know, that's good for the league, but it can't be solely reliant on the times those two teams play each other. You've got an opportunity to branch out and do more. I'm totally with you. You can't look this cheap. You can't be this low rent.
Yes.
With this situation like this,
and we know what's
fully take advantage.
And we know what's going on here. They would love to relocate this franchise out of this 20,000 residential area of Connecticut, wherever they're playing, to Boston. They'd love to be able to do that. That last night, 19,126 in attendance. The Boston Celtics came. Members of the Celtics were there in attendance. I mean, again, they had a block party before tip-off on a Tuesday night. Fans are eager to support more than just Caitlin Clark if you allow them to. And, again, you had to go to find out. You had to know that there was a WNBA League Pass. And it's not even on ESPN. I'm not talking about just national broadcast. This is not on NBA TV. It's not on ION. It's just out there in the ether. It's bizarre how they treat certain games.
It's not even on Outkick.com. It's not anywhere.
Anywhere.
Any platform, digital. It's WNBA League Pass only.
So
we should work on getting some rights to these WNBA games. If no one else will air them, we could put them on our website.
We can't even get credentialed right now.
Put them on our website. That's true. That would be tough.
Have we continued?
It would also be tough, by the way.
Has Dan Z continued to?
I don't know. We should ask. We need to get Dan Z back on the program and see if he's still being denied credentials across the WNBA.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll put it to you this way, Hutton. You brought up Messi. Messi comes to Nashville. We want to go see Messi. So we went and watched Messi play. And it's a memory because you got to see one of the legends. Caitlin Clark is 22, 23 years old and already a legend. If Caitlin Clark was playing at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, I'd want to go watch it.
Right.
I'd want to be in the arena when it happened, and it would probably sell out or close to it if they played a game here. And I mean, you could take this show on the road to other places. And
I think that's a good example to use Nashville because I think the WNBA wants to expand their league. They've got 12 teams. They've got to grow. A good example is last night playing their first WNBA game in Boston. But if they want to come to a market size like Nashville, which is a prime example, you got to be able to push the product more than just with one player. And they're going to have their opportunity. I think right now, I think Indiana's in the playoffs, 7 seed currently. And that was updated yesterday. So, yeah, I mean, good. They want Caitlin Clark in the postseason.
They are 7th overall.
How do they grow? How do they grow it after Indiana's eliminated from the postseason? I don't think they've capitalized on it. I don't think college basketball did either. I mean, they'll be able to prove me wrong on that, but I don't think there's this massive draw now to the sport of women's basketball unless Caitlin Clark's on the screen. Even though we've seen higher ratings,
but that still doesn't mean she's elevated the ratings across the board, but. Not to astronomical numbers the way she
Right.
has, games she's participating in, which is understandable. You look at the schedule also, and you brought this up, but if you're going to end in the middle of football season,
Yes.
you almost have to abide by a Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday schedule.
Have to.
For your big games.
And really Tuesday, Wednesday now.
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and then take the weekends off
You
and
have to.
come back and play the games again when football's not happening.
They went head to
if
head.
you want any eyeballs at all, because
Yes.
if Caitlin Clark is in the, I guess they're in the Eastern Conference Finals or the Eastern Conference, don't really know how it works. But if they're in the semifinals of the tournament, right?
Which is one series in.
And they're playing on a Tuesday night on ESPN, I'd watch.
Sure.
I'd check out some of it with no football on. Now, if you tell me it's that or the whatever the prime video Thursday night game is for the NFL, I'm probably watching football over that. Every single time. Saturday, I'm definitely watching college football. Sunday, definitely watch the NFL.
Right. And keep in mind, last year, the WNBA finals went head-to-head with the NFL twice on Sunday. That just can't happen. They've got to do better with the overall outlook for what they're trying to do. And
So look, I'm going to end it right there with these guys. Definitely enjoyed this conversation right here, but I do want to mention something. So I completely understand where they're coming from when it comes to ratings, when it comes to pushing the needle. As far as Angel Reese attaching herself to the whole Caitlin Clark situation, it's good for storyline. It's good for headlines. There's got to be some type of give. So as he's stating, if you want to grow, you better get into an argument or something with Caitlin Clark. Look at the storm. Look what happened just recently with Diggins. She's trending everywhere because of what she did. Kennedy Carter started trending because of what she did to Caitlin Clark. I'm not saying that that's the right way to go about it, but there's got to be some type of storyline or headline for this thing to keep moving the needle. Now, he's right. What is the WNBA doing scheduling games with the NFL? Everybody knows, especially for people who sports betting into anything like that or just in general, NFL is the biggest sport out when it comes to viewership and everything. So NFL will easily take over any sport of that day. Trust me. College football is right around that corner too. So I understand where they're saying, and then they're right. Caitlin Clark needs to be in the postseason because I don't know what's going to happen if just God forbid, if the Indiana Fever don't make the playoffs. How is that going to look for viewership? So it's tough. I mean, I know what Indiana's doing. So if you're the one of the owners or investors and you're having that meeting, everybody's sitting down, you pull up this chart. Okay, we have 12 teams. What is every market doing? Indiana's going to blow past. Indiana's going to beat every market probably combined on every SKU or thing, product, whatever the case is they're looking at, right? Then they're going to look at, okay, damn, this market, the Mystics are doing terrible. This market, who is going to be that needle mover? Chicago Sky might have a little movement. Okay. We're going to put them up there. Who else is going to move the needle? It can't just be every time Caitlin Clark is on the schedule. Because you can see what they did at the beginning of the schedule. They try to capitalize. They need someone else to move the needle. But at the same time, they got to do a better job with their marketing. Now, these girls don't understand. Going back to Diggins, and this is where it's a pro and con. When you do get into a situation with Caitlin Clark, for instance, you're going to have to deal with a lot of things. Media, you're going to have to deal with social media, hateful fans, things like that. And then at the same time, if you guys want to be televised, if you guys want these media rights, when you're in a interview, you can't just deny every question that's being asked. You have to understand how the media works. You have to be media trained. You have to give the headline. You have to give storyline. You have to give that to them, or else they're not going to want to keep. Like, let's just say a room full of, like, Caitlin. When Caitlin plays, there's probably a room full of 50 reporters trying to get a question. But when the Suns play, there's probably 10 people in there because your guys' interviews sometimes are probably so. They're just not well trained. Do you get what I'm saying? You're not giving the right feedback that's going to push the story, push the headlines, push anything to get viewerships how Caitlin Clark is going to. If you watch Caitlin Clark's interview, Caitlin Clark probably has the most views on any interview in women's history, women's basketball history. It's because her interviews are so in-depth, so calm, so humble, so she sounds like a coach. So a media, a business, they're going to be like, oh, that's the one right there. We can make a storyline of this. We can give the people what they want. We can get views off this. That is how business works. So I definitely enjoy this conversation. I'm going to leave it right here. I'm going to definitely check these guys out a little bit more. Hot Mike from Outkick. So shout out to Outkick. Appreciate you guys, man. I enjoyed the conversation. Let me know what you guys think about this down below. But at the end of the day, man, you guys got to start thinking about, seriously, who's moving the needle and what we're going to do to keep growing this game. Besides that, I'm going to catch you guys on the next video. It's your boy, CEO O'Connor. Welcome to Game Day. Catch you on the next one. We're out.